Welcome back to 4D, episode 25, focusing on EG.Arteezy's Storm Spirit. In this edition of Def's Daily Dose of Dota, we're in the mid-game. And we've seen kind of a boring farm fest from Storm Spirit, a couple ball lightnings, as in this edition I am just stopping the replay, and we're just looking at how much math he spends. Arteezy has a lot of this memorized, or at least he's taking it easy. He's assuming it in his head. We are just going to pop in, use the replay analysis to just add a little bit of information for our own standing. It's the 13-minute mark now, and an Orchid had just come online for Arteezy. Let's hop into the game and see what he does with it.
Is under attack.
We were looking at last hits, which Arteezy was having a fest at. Gold per minute was 400 earlier in the game. Now it's 500. And we see him instantly coming, using a smoke in mid lane, and being on the aggression. Being aggressive. He's probably looking across the river going, well, how far can I go? Fluff and stuff is here too, but they are very low HP. 700 HP he goes in. And from full, he goes from 700 to 1100. So that's about 400 mana to go at a 40-degree angle across the river. P.S. You always get that overload proc. 90 damage. Let's see what he does with it.
Yeah.
He could have gotten another right click in here, but Zeus is still controlled by the electric vortex. So he's going to use overload again. And through the use of another ball lightning. A very short amount, only 100 mana. And with that extra damage, Arteezy secures a kill. Within about 45 seconds of getting his Orchid. And he jaunts, it seems to look like, up to the top rune, where he secures himself 3 more bottle charges and an invisibility rune. Fear has his blink dagger. He's being quite successful. And Arteezy gets to look around the map some more. We see Arteezy just checking out the bottom going, well, could I go? I have 800 mana. Could I go? Could I go soon? I have an invis, I'll take my time. Just barely missing. And he does see the creep wave.
Dire's top tower is
So he begins to rotate towards the top lane. And he sees his next target, the Elder Titan. Starting from full mana, down to 716 again. Another 400 mana or so gets you the length of the river, or the width of the river. And instantly,
bottom tower is under attack.
Elder Titan seems to disintegrate.
Dire's
600 damage coming out.
tower is under attack.
And our Storm Spirit, he's already gotten back to the bottle. Using all the charges, but that's okay. It's the 16-minute mark. A bounty rune comes in at a fantastic time for him. He's staying high mana. He's at about 700 now, as he chooses to rotate to the top lane. Can he go after Necro? Well, he tried. And I always just like to check here. Down to 500. As we see Storm Spirit porting in right now.
Tower is under attack.
So he's at about 900. So that's 400 mana or so. He runs into 2. And the stun just too good there. A little ambitious of him. And he knew the Witch Doctor would just be able to get off his litany of spells on him.
Is under attack.
Left alone.
Dire's structures are fortified.
But this is a replay. We can speed it up.
Dire's top
No Storm
tower
Spirit's going to be
has
dead
been
in my
denied.
game. Because in the meantime, you see the net worth. He's still number 3rd. That's still a 13-minute Orchid. Arteezy's ready to go back to work.
Dire's Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We see him back in the mid lane, doing the power treads toggling. Because it's just too easy for him.
Over here.
Jumps in there, 255 mana, we can back up again. I think he was up at 600. So as we've approximated, this could be about 400 mana or so.
Over here now.
About 350 mana.
Zap.
He uses it again to get away from an Elder Titan ultimate there. First splitter. Down for 90 seconds. Ball Lightning's always off of cooldown. Proccing the 90 damage for the overload. Also, pretty significant is the attack and movement slow. A lot of people forget about the attack slow. And Arteezy just having a great time. Farming in the jungle too easy. So he's going to use his Invis rune, see if anyone walks in the lane. And he's up to 8.2 mana per second. So in a minute, that's enough for a static remnant many times over. We saw Storm Spirit bail out there. Didn't have enough damage, but he was close. So he just saves his bottle charges. Says I'm gonna get a new set. Goes to the top rune, gets a bounty rune for his trouble, and goes off back into the jungle. Now porting bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We saw 130. That was another 300 mana jump. And Storm Spirit's low, but they got kills. They're rewarded with a kill on this tower.
Radiant's bottom tower has
And at
fallen.
9 per second, almost 10 per second, that would be 600 per minute.
I'm over here.
Using the overload, why not? It's only 98 mana. And you hit for over 100 damage. Your Orchid, providing quite a bit of mana regen. You just have the urge to stay out on the map. You could go back to base. No. That would be too far. I'm gonna just hang out here. It's much easier out here. He goes to the secret shop, picks up a Perseverance. Could be working on... Could be a Lincoln's. He'll be about 4 minutes away from that. And he could use a few more kills.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
We saw that being a 300 mana
Blow the man down.
Ball Lightning. We can look it up here, but Witch Doctor being paper thin, caught out of position. There's no vision here. Sure, there's the sentry, but there's no vision if you're sneaky next assassins. And if you're the first one to place it, as you see it is in his inventory, ask for a friend. After all, there could be a Storm Spirit out on the map, now second on net worth, eclipsing even EG Fear on the puck, who now has a Yule Scepter.
Here I am! Silence!
We see Arteezy rotate into the bottom lane. And if you're gonna get a Lincoln's, you need money. So he continues to farm, even grabs this creep camp here, grabbing the jungle too. Mud Golems, or Kobold Foremen, as apparently those are. Whatever. He'll take them. Now up to 1500 gold. Even taking this lap's camp up to 1600.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The jungle is in complete possession of Arteezy.
Radiant struck.
We see on the minimap the 4 players of EG have
Structures are
a
fortified.
significant line that they've drawn. There's one here, and there's another one here. And Arteezy, just free farming. He can get that bottom tower if he wants.
Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
But instead, we see him at full mana and port top.
Over here now.
We see from full mana down to 360. So that was about 700 or 800 mana to go almost two screens, two entire screens. With BKB
Here I am.
wearing off on Necro. And with the slow, he turns into 335
Told you
gold.
a storm
for
was
Storm Spirit.
coming.
2400 gold online, pretty good if you're saving up for the rest of this Lincoln's. The recipe alone is 1300 gold. Not like a Shiva's, where you complete 2 of the pieces, and the recipe's only a couple hundred gold, 600 or so. A lot of itemization, specifically for that spell block that the recipe provides. Not so much to the stats. But the lanes are pushed out. EG.Arteezy, going back to base, filling up on the bottle, sipping, and he sets out. Even picking up the recipe for Lincoln's, saying, hey, let's be aggressive. Let's watch the coming storm. Herp derp. There we go. We see Arteezy going up onto the high ground. He's smoked up. He's a Storm Spirit. He walks through, though he does place a Static Remnant.
Zap.
And that's all. There is no death here. Not for Storm Spirit. It's actually Universe in the bottom lane. So, yeah, the Ice Blast. You see it come out, but it's going to be off the mark. Who are you hitting here? Zeus, he's full HP. Arteezy does attempt to come in, though, a little late. He was probably surprised by the Ice Blast as well.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But Puck is in here now, so we immediately orc it.
Dire's structures are
And the damage
fortified.
just barely enough
Ha!
to claim a kill for Puck. And an instant port bottom. We see him at 250 mana, but he has bottle charges. He would love to go on to these heroes in the bottom lane. We see him up to 400 just a couple seconds later because of all this mana regen. And we see his Orchid coming off the line.
Dire's bottom tower
But
has
the
fallen.
tower has fallen. It is only a tier 1. The score, 9 to 14. Fluff and stuff. Dear God, don't kill me. As he hides in the jungle here. Arteezy says, hey, that's fine. I'll just keep farming. Working on the Lincoln Sphere. Well, it looks like it'll actually be a Bloodstone instead. Saving up for
What'd I
that.
miss?
Wants the bigger mana pool. And this Necrophos ultimate that we talked about earlier really hasn't been that big of an issue yet. His farm's not fantastic. He's had to pick up a BKB, as we can just click on and see. So the old stick, maybe we'll pick up the Lincolns for that later. And immediately go for the Bloodstone. He has been getting quite a bit of kills. He's 6-1, as you see in the bottom right. So if he could turn those into Bloodstone charges, that would be the ideal scenario. And Arteezy sets out to farm a little more gold. He's at 3,000 or so. That's
Let
going to
the
help.
Fun begin.
So the
Zip-zap.
camps are already blocked. So instead, he bullies his way into lane, getting the 70 gold there, even farming up this additional lane. And then having what he got, which was about
Looking for
400
me?
gold. He backs up. He knows it's on the courier, and at the 28-minute mark, Arteezy goes up to 30 mana per second. With that Bloodstone, along with the HP, 500 HP, 400 mana. But the 200% mana regen is wonderful. If you're going to be consistently using it to do something like this. This time, that's about 1,000, which was a screen length. And it claims a kill on the Zeus.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We see him finding Elder Titan. The electric vortex does pull him out of the ice blast, but
You had your warning.
Arteezy, too easy for Arteezy. Already up to 900 gold again. Putting down the static remnant, why not? You have all this mana regen suddenly, since it's 30 minutes in. Increasing your farm just a little faster, especially since it procs the overload, as all his spells do. And a TP coming in.
Zip.
At this point, with 130 mana cost of ball lightning being about a third of what you generate per second, you can even use ball lightning to go through there. Through the camps, through the trees, over the hills, the valleys.
Over here now.
It's the 30-minute mark, and Arteezy is closing in on a Bloodstone, Linken's, and Orchid. He's level 18. He's maxed out all his spells. He will be rewarded with a double damage rune. And what does Arteezy do when he finds the Rune of Destiny? We see him thinking about Roshan, seeing who's on the map,
I'm over here.
looking for the courier. He almost got it.
Here I am.
He doesn't see it.
Radiant's
So
top
instead,
tower is under
Arteezy
attack.
will just be farming. Not all ganks, not all ball lightning uses are rewarded. But you miss 100% of the ball lightning shots you don't take. Pretty sure I heard that on ESPN. Arteezy at the 30-minute mark, rotating through the mid lane. They have free roam of the map. You see it here. Very much eliminated. There is a push going here, but there's no vision of the push. So only Darkseer is back on defense, and he's going to do a great job. Max rank on this Ion Shell, cranking out quite a bit of damage. And TC, having went Midas, now has the AC and a Vlad's and a BKB. But there's no Necro Book. Can't really apply a lot of additional... Not much additional pressure. As we see Fluff and stuff would have loved to have set up for a Death Ward. Instead, Arteezy getting in a fight. We can rack that back 10 seconds.
Ha!
As we see 1,000 mana jump into a static vortex, into another ball lightning. BKB from TC, still not enough. Although you might have seen it, Zeus sitting there, eating into Arteezy. But note the differences from that Bloodstone, as we see the mark on the ground. Only 20 seconds left for Arteezy. Whereas another 30 or 40 seconds left. Making our heroes fall back. Puck. Helping to claim a kill. And Arteezy's already back online.
I'm over here.
It looks like a Roshan is the next target for the team. Everyone working together. I don't know what Universe is doing. Off in his own universe. But Arteezy says, hey, that's fine, I'm just here taking it easy. I got ball lightning. Still have 7 charges on his Bloodstone. And even though our universe finally arrives,
Let the fun begin.
you see the HP bar. 400 HP. He's called Tree Ant for some reason.
Fallen to the down.
The Death Ward barely reaches, in case you were wondering. You can sit up on the top here and have it barely reach. But Arteezy can do a lot better than barely reach. He can pull you forward with Electric
No
Vortex
whining now.
and Ball Lightning. offers almost unlimited mobility. And at the 33-minute mark, Roshan is down. The Aegis is now on Storm Spirit.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And another 600 mana leap will bring Storm Spirit back to the well. The Lincoln's online
Dire's
at the
top tower is
34-minute
under
mark.
attack.
And he ports to the top tower. When we come back from this break, we'll see the conclusion of this game. The late game. It's the 34-minute mark. Arteezy, his slots are filled. He has a Bloodstone. He has an Orchid. He has an Aegis. He has a Lincoln Sphere. He's ready to fight. He's just teleported to the top tower. There's several heroes of the enemy team in the jungle. We'll see the conclusion to this match after this.